Good morning all from a cold but finally sunny Winchester, UK in January 2019, and this is my Powerwall Mini Powerwall project and monitoring system, finally up and running of a sort anyway. So as you can maybe make out from what I've got here, I've got 3 packs in series, each of 8 cells just at the moment. I do have somewhere over here a lot more cells to process. There's a hint of I've actually got sort of about three packs of 80 that will hopefully come into production at some point. And yes, the BMS side of things is actually working, and I've stood on giants as is customary for these sorts of things. So many thanks to guys like Stuart Pittaway and Brett Watty for their work on their own BMS systems, that I've taken bits and pieces of those and implemented something using what I had lying around. And in this case you can see hopefully Wemos D1 Mini ESP8266, and at the moment 3 Arduino Pro Minis. These are the 3.3 version, one for each pack, merrily away, flashing away once every half second for each pack, and sending their information via the ESP8266 to MQTT and Node-RED. And so I now actually have this on a screen now on my little tablet here. So I've got the pack voltages being shown and the overall voltage for the whole pack and each of the individual cells. So you can see the numbers sort of tie up reasonably well, showing 11.2 volts on the charger, and it actually got some electricity going in for a change, so that's quite nice. And oops, that's right, my screen's just refreshing at the moment. There we go, 11.2 showing on the firewall. Each of individual pack voltages as well of around 3.6 volts. Let's refresh again, and some additional graphs over different lengths of time, over day and over week. So things I don't know whether the other guys have done this as well. I didn't dig into their code particularly far, just getting ideas of what components and things to use. So that a lot of those have used the Tiny 85, and I had trouble with those. I did try using them to start off with, but I had trouble with them and the I2C bus, so I went with the tried and trusted Pro Minis in the end, and they worked out much better for me. And yeah, at the moment it is purely monitoring. There's no discharging of leveling off the voltages, and that if one gets too high. I haven't done any of that. That's probably to come at some point. And yeah, as you can see, it's all still breadboard and not put onto permanent circuit boards or anything yet. But it's working, and I'm really chuffed. I'm using the actual internal voltage reference, so there's. I'm literally just, I don't know if you can see very well here, but if I zoom in on one of these bad boys, I'm literally just, there's 4 connections to it. There's the SDA and SCL out for the I2C, and literally just power to it from it, one from each pack, and it's using the internal voltage reference to calculate the voltage of the cell, to monitor the voltage of the cell. And I know that's not the most accurate way of doing things, but I think it's probably going to be adequate for my needs. So yeah, that's where I am with that at the moment. It's all come together over Christmas, so it's been good fun, and hopefully it's been running for about a week now, and the battery's were at 12.6 when I started, but they've dipped a little bit over time, and yeah, it's I'm pretty pleased with it all. So now I think I'll go from prototyping boards onto some variable and something a bit more permanent, and see how those go, and see if I can implement the some discharging and that as well to do the pack management a bit nicer. Okay, so to expand on what I was mumbling on about in the shed a few minutes ago, each pack, and I've got 3 packs at the moment, each with a nominal of 4.2, giving me 12.6 volts, which I'm using primarily at the moment just to light my shed and a few LEDs around the garden. Each pack is monitored by a Arduino Pro Mini 3.3 volt one that sends its information every 1.5 seconds or so via I2C to the ESP8266. It does this via an isolation chip, just to make sure that each of the monitors is sort of electronically separate from each other, and I think that's a chip a lot of the other guys have used, which I think is the ADUM 1250 ARZ, I think it is, and that's worked out really well. It wasn't too difficult to hook those up, thankfully. And those, yeah, talk back to the ESP8266. The ESP8266 then connects to my Wi-Fi and publishes the voltages, individual voltages for the pack, and it also does a sum of those voltages for the total pack voltage, which it also sends over Wi-Fi to MQTT on my Raspberry Pi, and also on my Raspberry Pi is Node-RED, and I have built a dashboard in Node-RED. I can show you the all the nodes and the various bits and pieces that go with them. It looks a lot more complicated than it actually is, but basically the pack voltages, individual pack voltages come in here, and the total pack voltage comes in here via by subscriptions to those MQTT topics. It then changes them into a format that the graphs can understand, and I can say I've got one for the packs, individual pack bar graph. Then I do some averaging out for the pack voltage graphs for the the various 2-hour graphs, last day graph, last week graph, and similar sorts of things down here for the total voltage. So this bunch of stuff here is just me, was what I was using to test it before I actually got the packs up and running. So yeah, it's all fairly, each of these really describes what they do. This one takes up the string from the MQTT, changes it into an int and then to a float. Sometimes when some averaging is done, I've then set it back to a fixed number of decimal places and pushed it out to each of the graphs. So it's not that complex. Then, but this is how it looks in the flesh, and overall I'm pretty pleased with it. So this is the last 2 hours, and we've started getting a little bit of sunshine this morning, which is nice. So the voltage is going up rather than down over time. So was it 11.128 at 10:15, and 11.265 just about now. So yeah, we've had a little bit of sun. It's not a big solar panel, by the way. It's only a 20 watter, so it's enough to keep them topped up during the summer, but during the winter I have to manually top them up a bit at the moment, but a bigger panel should fix that. So yes, these are real-time figures coming in from each of the packs. And I've done some other graphs over different time periods. So over the last day, we can see it's been generally declining, and our little incline this morning, and the individual packs doing the similar sorts of things. And you can see over since, it's been running for a week now, but the graphs just hold the last live week as such. So we're looking from mid-Thursday last week. It's not had any sunshine here in the UK up until Monday, when we got a couple of hours, and hence a little step. And then today, when it's again a little step up. So that's where I am with it. So I'm hoping to include, say it's purely monitoring at the moment. It would be nice to be able to do some battery balancing as well. But yeah, we'll see how we go. If you're interested, please post any questions. Yeah, very grateful to have any comments and suggestions. And yeah, thank you very much for having a look, and thank you to the guys that sort of inspired me with this project. And so there's a big list of them, but the highlights: Adam Welch, of course, Andreas Spies, Brett Watty, Colin Hickey, Julian Eilert, Stuart Peterway, Pete Scargill. So yeah, thank you very much for your hard work and in providing inspiration. So any questions, please let me know. All right, thanks a lot, guys. Cheers, and bye-bye.